The scent of 1,000 white roses hung heavy in the air, a sweet perfume for what was meant to be the first day of forever. For Isabella Chen, this was it, the culmination of a lifetime of dreams, standing on the precipice of becoming Mrs. Ethan Blake. The 7-carat diamond on her finger was cold against her skin, a stark contrast to the warmth flooding her heart. The bridal suite at Serenity Vineyards was a study in controlled, opulent chaos. Sunlight, thick and golden, streamed through floor-to-ceiling French doors. Isabella stood before a gilded full-length mirror, a vision in ivory silk and handcrafted lace. The dress, a bespoke creation she'd flown to Paris for, clung to her frame as if spun from moonlight and promises. Every detail was perfect, meticulously curated over 18 months of obsessive planning. "Stop fidgeting or you'll smudge your mascara, and I am not doing that winged liner again," said Maya Torres, her maid of honor and best friend since Stanford. While Isabella was the dreamer, Maya was the pragmatist, the one who read the fine print on every contract and every man Isabella ever dated. "I can't help it," Isabella breathed. "Is this real? Am I really about to marry Ethan Blake?" She loved everything about him. The way Ethan's eyes crinkled at the corners when he smiled, the low rumble of his laugh, the ambitious fire in him that mirrored her own. He understood her in a way no one else ever had. He saw past Isabella Chen, heiress to the Chen media empire, and saw just Isabella. Of course, Maya had been skeptical at first. "He's too smooth," she'd warned over cocktails. "Men that charming are either selling something or hiding something." But even Maya's well-honed cynicism had eventually melted under Ethan's relentless charm and his seemingly genuine adoration for Isabella. He'd won over her best friend, and more importantly, he'd earned the cautious approval of her father, William Chen, a man who viewed most of his daughter's suitors as hostile takeover attempts. The door swept open, and Mrs. Catherine Blake, Ethan's mother, swept in, an impeccably preserved woman whose posture suggested she was constantly balancing the family's social standing on her perfectly coiffed head. "Isabella, my dear, you look absolutely stunning, a perfect bride for my perfect son. The photographer is ready. We are running on a very tight schedule." After a flurry of photos that blurred into a series of bright flashes and strained smiles, the photographer finally departed. The bridesmaids were ushered out, and Catherine Blake went to ensure the guests were perfectly arranged. "Okay, 10 minutes until showtime," Maya announced. "How are you feeling?" "Elated," Isabella confirmed, her voice firm. "I just need a minute alone, just to breathe." Maya slipped out, closing the heavy door behind her. Isabella was finally alone. She walked over to the window, gazing out at the breathtaking vista of rolling hills carpeted in rows of lush green vines. Hundreds of people were gathered below, a sea of expectant faces turned toward the flower-laden altar where her future waited. She closed her eyes, picturing Ethan's face. Forever, she thought. The word felt vast and beautiful. Seeking total silence, she slipped into a small book-lined anteroom, a quiet sanctuary away from the main suite. The air smelled of old leather and lemon polish. For the first time all day, she felt she could truly breathe. She closed her eyes, counting her heartbeats, trying to slow the wild, joyful gallop in her chest. 1, 2, 3, 4. The silence she had craved was suddenly broken, a low murmur from the other side of the wall that connected to the groom's private study. Ethan's voice. A soft smile touched Isabella's lips. He was still in there, probably practicing his vows. But the tone was off. It wasn't nervous or excited. It was low, intimate, oddly soothing, the way one speaks when trying to calm a turbulent situation. Curiosity pricked at her. She found herself moving toward the shared wall, drawn by an inexplicable pull.
There was an old ornate air vent cover, and the sound was filtering through more clearly. She pressed her ear gently against the cool painted wall beside it. "No, it's difficult, but you have to trust me," Ethan was saying, his voice a soft caress. "Just for a few more hours. Everything is going exactly to plan." "A plan?" Isabella frowned. He must be talking about the Singapore deal Catherine had mentioned. His dedication was admirable, but couldn't it have waited until after the honeymoon? There was a pause. "Don't be like that," Ethan continued, with a distinct note of placating tenderness that made a cold knot form in Isabella's stomach. "You know it's not like that. You can't possibly think this ceremony means anything more than a business transaction." A business transaction. The words hit her like stones. Her breath caught in her throat. He was speaking about their wedding, their marriage. But then he spoke again, and the next two words shattered her carefully constructed reality into a million irreparable pieces. "Listen to me, Natalie." Natalie? The name was alien. Not his mother, his sister, his assistant. Who was Natalie? "Natalie, my love, you're the one," Ethan murmured, his voice thick with unmistakable emotion. "This whole thing with Isabella, it's a means to an end. It's the key that unlocks everything for us. You know that. We've been over this." Isabella felt the blood drain from her face. The room began to tilt violently. "My love." He had called this other woman my love. The term of endearment, his special name for Isabella, felt like acid on her skin. "Of course she's beautiful," Ethan was saying, with dismissive clinical assessment. "And smart. That's what makes her the perfect front. William Chen adores her. He wouldn't sign over proxy control of his media shares to just anyone's husband. He's doing it for her. He thinks he's securing his little girl's future with a man who loves her." A wave of nausea washed over Isabella. This wasn't just infidelity. This was a calculated long con, a corporate raid disguised as a romance. The prenuptial agreement now loomed in her mind as a sinister document. She remembered Ethan being the one to suggest an unusual clause about merging certain voting rights in their respective family companies. Her father's lawyers had questioned it, but Ethan, with his easy charm, had convinced everyone it was a gesture of ultimate trust. It wasn't trust, it was a Trojan horse. "No, don't cry, baby. Please don't cry," Ethan soothed into the phone. "Nothing changes between us. This is just a piece of paper, a performance. Once the merger is complete and the Chen assets are leveraged into our new venture, I'll initiate the exit strategy. A quiet, amicable divorce in a year or two. By then, it'll be too late for them to undo the financial ties." A year or two. He had their entire sham marriage and its demolition planned out. "I have to go," Ethan said, his voice becoming hurried. "The music is about to start. Just be patient. I'll see you tonight." Tonight? He was going to leave his own wedding reception to meet his mistress. "Yes, tonight, our usual place, around midnight. I'll tell Isabella I have to take a conference call with the Tokyo office. She'll buy it. She buys everything." The final sentence was laced with casual contempt. "I love you, Natalie. Only you. Always." Isabella stumbled back from the wall, her hand flying to her chest as if to hold her heart together. The beautiful, expensive dress felt like a shroud. The 7-carat diamond on her finger felt as heavy and as cold as a tombstone. The joyous music drifting in from the courtyard, the soft, hopeful notes of the string quartet signaling the start of the ceremony, sounded like a funeral dirge. Her wedding day, the day her life was supposed to begin, was instead the day she learned it had all been a lie. The door creaked open and Maya poked her head in. "Everything okay? The music started. Your dad is waiting. It's go time." Maya's cheerful expression dissolved the instant she saw Isabella's face. The blood had drained from it, leaving behind a stark, bone-white canvas of horror. "Isabella, what is it? What's wrong?" My God, you look like you've seen a ghost." "Worse," Isabella whispered, her voice barely human. "I heard one." Piece by agonizing piece, in halting, fractured sentences, Isabella relayed the conversation she had overheard. She repeated the name Natalie. She detailed the cold corporate language he used to describe their marriage. She explained the plot against her father, the leveraging of the Chen assets, the planned exit strategy. With every word she spoke, the reality became more solid, more undeniable. Saying it out loud made it real. Maya listened, her face transforming from confusion to disbelief and finally to a cold, concentrated fury. "I knew it," Maya hissed, her voice low and venomous. "I knew there was something off about him, that manipulative, parasitic snake."
"I will kill him. I will walk out there and end him right now." "It's too late," Isabella murmured. "The ceremony's starting. Everyone is waiting." "Then we stop it," Maya insisted. "We walk out there right now and tell your dad. We call the whole thing off." The thought of running away was tempting, but then Ethan's final words echoed in her ears. "She buys everything." The smugness, the contempt. He saw her as weak, a fool to be played. If she ran away crying, she would be proving him right. A new feeling began to stir beneath the crushing weight of her grief, a tiny ember in the ashes of her heart. It was rage, pure, clarifying rage. "No," Isabella said, her voice suddenly steady. "We're not stopping it. I'm not running. I'm walking down that aisle." "What? Isabella, no, you can't marry him." "I'm not going to marry him," Isabella said, her voice as sharp and cold as breaking ice. "I'm going to expose him." The shock that had paralyzed her moments ago had receded, replaced by a preternatural clarity. Ethan had mistaken her love for foolishness. He had mistaken her trust for blindness. He was about to find out how devastatingly wrong he was. "He wants a performance." Isabella's lips twisted into a bitter smile. "I'll give him the performance of a lifetime." "I need proof," Isabella said, her mind racing. "It can't just be my word against his. I need something concrete." "His phone," Maya said instantly. "It has to be in the study." "Then I'll create a diversion," Maya said, already moving toward the door. "That should give me a minute, maybe two. I'm looking for call logs, text messages with this Natalie, anything." Within moments, Maya slipped out to execute the plan. Isabella opened the main door to the hallway. Her father, William Chen, stood there looking regal and proud, his silver hair perfectly coiffed. His warm smile was full of love and pride, and the sight of it almost broke her. "There you are, my darling, ready to take the most important walk of your life?" "Almost, Dad," Isabella said, forcing her voice to remain even. "There's a small issue with my dress. Could you come into the anteroom for a second?" Once inside, Isabella let the mask of composure fall away. The wedding is off. Concisely and with a chilling lack of emotion, she told him everything. She left out the heartbreak and focused on the facts he, as a businessman, would immediately grasp. "Ethan is marrying me to gain proxy control of your shares. It's a corporate takeover plot orchestrated with a woman named Natalie Russo. He plans to leverage our assets and then divorce me in under 2 years." William Chen went pale. He sank into the armchair, looking as though he'd been physically struck. For a moment he was silent, processing the sheer scale of the deception. It wasn't just his daughter's heart, it was his life's work, his family's legacy that had been targeted. His expression shifted from shock to a glacial, terrifying rage that made the air in the room grow cold. That young man is about to learn what it truly means to cross a Chen. Just then, Maya slipped back into the room, her face pale but her eyes triumphant. "Did you get it?" Isabella breathed. "Better," Maya whispered, trembling with adrenaline. "His laptop was open on his desk. He has a program that auto-records his business calls. He must have forgotten to turn it off." She pulled out a tiny USB drive. "I have the entire 10-minute conversation, every single word." The string quartet outside swelled, playing the opening bars of the bridal march. It was time.
Walking down the aisle on her father's arm was a surreal, out-of-body experience. The faces of the guests turned toward her, a sea of beaming smiles and happy tears. They saw a radiant bride gliding toward her happily ever after. They didn't see the war council that had taken place just moments before, nor could they feel the Arctic chill emanating from the bride and her father. Isabella held her head high, her bouquet clutched in a grip so tight her knuckles were white. Her gaze was fixed on the man standing under the magnificent archway of flowers, Ethan Blake. He was even more handsome than she'd remembered, his smile broad and confident. As she drew closer, she saw the look in his eyes, a mixture of adoration and triumphant possession. He thought he had won. He was looking at his grand prize, his beautiful, unsuspecting key to a dynasty. The sight of it fueled the fire of her rage, burning away the last vestiges of her tears. Her father's hand was a rock on her arm. He leaned in, his whisper for her ears alone. "I am so proud of you, Isabella. Let him have it." When they reached the altar, William didn't just give her hand to Ethan. He placed it there with pointed formality, his eyes locking with Ethan's for a fraction of a second too long, a silent promise of retribution. Ethan, oblivious, beamed at her. "You look breathtaking. I'm the luckiest man alive." "You have no idea," Isabella replied, her smile chillingly perfect. The ceremony began. The words washed over Isabella, meaningless platitudes about love, trust, and forever. She stood perfectly still, a marble statue of a bride, her eyes never leaving Ethan's face. He seemed to sense a shift in the atmosphere, his confident smile tightening at the edges as he met her unblinking, icy stare. He fidgeted with his cuffs, a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. They moved through the opening remarks and the readings. Then came the moment. The officiant smiled benevolently. "Before these two are joined in matrimony, if there is anyone present who has just cause to believe they should not be wed, let them speak now or forever hold their peace." A traditional theatrical pause. The guests shuffled, a few coughed politely. In the silence, Isabella, who was supposed to be the picture of silent acquiescence, took a small, deliberate step forward and raised her hand. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. It started as a murmur and grew into a wave of shocked whispers. Ethan's face froze, the blood draining from it, his mask of the charming groom cracking into a million pieces. His mother, Catherine, in the front row, looked as if she'd been slapped. "Isabella, what are you doing?" Ethan hissed, grabbing for her hand. She pulled it away as if his touch were poison. She turned to the stunned officiant. "I believe I have just cause." Her voice rang out clear and steady, amplified by the small microphone clipped to the officiant's lapel. "I'd like to thank you all for coming today to celebrate this union, a union I, until about 20 minutes ago, believed was based on love and mutual respect. However, I've just been privy to some new information that has rather altered the terms of the agreement." She saw her father nod grimly from his seat. She saw Maya standing with the bridesmaids, her expression of righteous vindication. Isabella's eyes found Ethan's again. His were wide of dawning horror. "You see, I always thought my fiancé's pet name for me was my love. Imagine my surprise when I learned just before walking down this aisle that he reserves that same term of endearment for another woman named Natalie Russo." The name hung in the air. Ethan flinched as if he'd been shot. His mouth opened, but no words came out. "But simple infidelity I might have been able to forgive. What I find a little harder to overlook is the reason for this wedding. Ethan called it a business transaction, a means to an end, the most lucrative acting job of our lives. His words, not mine." She stepped closer to him. The plan was quite brilliant, really. Marry the loving, trusting daughter to gain proxy control of her father's company, leverage the Chen media assets, and then file for a quiet divorce in a year or two. Ethan finally found his voice. "She's hysterical," he stammered, looking wildly at the crowd, then at his mother. "She's got pre-wedding jitters. She's not well." Catherine Blake started to rise from her seat, her face a mask of fury and humiliation, ready to defend her son and salvage the situation. But before she could speak, Maya stepped forward from the bridal party line, holding up her phone connected to a portable speaker. "Is this your voice, Ethan?" Maya asked, her tone deadly. She pressed play, and into the stunned silence of the Napa Valley afternoon, Ethan's own voice filled the air, smooth and conspiratorial. "This whole thing with Isabella, it's a means to an end. It's the key that unlocks everything for us. I love you, Natalie, only you, always." The recording ended. The silence that followed was absolute and damning. The silence was shattered by a cacophony of gasps, angry murmurs, and the frantic clicking of phones as guests realized they were witnessing the most scandalous event of the decade. Ethan stood frozen at the altar, his face a ghastly shade of pale, exposed and utterly defeated. The charm, the confidence, the carefully constructed facade had been stripped away, leaving behind a common, pathetic cheat.
Without another word, without a single backward glance, Isabella turned. She gathered the skirt of her magnificent dress and began to walk, not run, walk, back down the aisle she had just ascended. This time, the faces of the guests were a blur of shock, awe, and for many, deep respect. She wasn't a jilted bride fleeing in shame. She was a queen abdicating a corrupt throne, her head held high, her back straight. She had walked into this ceremony a naive girl in love, and she was walking out a woman who had saved herself and her family. Her father and Maya fell into step on either side of her as she reached the end of the aisle. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. They simply formed a protective wall around her, their presence a silent testament to the love that was real and enduring. As she stepped out from under the shade of the wedding canopy and into the bright, unfiltered sunlight, Isabella took her first deep breath of clean air. The scent of roses no longer seemed cloying. It was just the smell of a beautiful day, the first day of her new, unwritten future. The path ahead was uncertain, and the wound of betrayal was deep, but for the first time in a very long time, she was free. The wedding was over. Her life was just beginning. The walk away from the altar led them to a private villa on the far side of the estate. Estate security materialized around them, forming a protective perimeter. The moment the heavy oak door clicked shut behind them, the world went silent. For a second, the three of them just stood there, the adrenaline draining away, leaving a hollow, buzzing vacuum in its place. And then, Isabella's body remembered the pain her mind had been holding at bay. A tremor started in her knees, traveling up her body until her teeth were chattering. The magnificent wedding dress, which had felt like armor moments ago, now felt like a cage. "I can't breathe," she whispered, her hands clawing at the intricate pearl buttons running down her back. Maya was on her in an instant, working at the impossible buttons. As the dress finally fell away, Isabella's legs gave out. She collapsed onto a velvet settee, a raw, guttural sob tearing from her throat. She wasn't just crying for Ethan, the liar and the cheat. She was crying for the man she thought he was. She wept for the happy memories now tainted and grotesque in their falsehood. She wept for the future she had so meticulously planned, the home they were going to build, the children she had imagined. She was mourning a death, the death of a dream, and the death of the woman she had been when she woke up that morning, so full of hope and love. Maya knelt before her, gathering her into her arms. She didn't offer platitudes or empty reassurances. She just held her, letting Isabella soak the shoulder of her dove-gray bridesmaid dress with tears, providing a steady, silent anchor. After what felt like an eternity, the sobs subsided. "He never loved me," Isabella whispered. "None of it was real."
The love you felt was real, Isabella, Maya said fiercely. Your heart, your trust, your hope, that was all genuine. He was the fake. William ended his call and walked over, kneeling beside Maya. He took Isabella's trembling hand in his own. Security is escorting the Blakes off the property. The guests are being informed of a sudden family emergency. Our team is handling the media. You don't have to worry about any of it. He squeezed her hand. You were magnificent, Isabella. You were a warrior. I don't feel like a warrior. I just feel broken. You have been broken open, her father corrected gently, and you will heal, and you will be stronger than you ever were before. A fragile sense of peace began to settle in the room. The worst was over. The lie was exposed. The performance was done. Isabella looked at the two faces before her, her fiercely loyal friend and her unshakable father. This was real. This love, this support, was the fortune Ethan had never been clever enough to see. What Isabella did that day wasn't just about revenge. It was a profound act of reclaiming her own story. In the face of devastating betrayal, she refused to be the victim. She chose strength over sorrow, truth over tradition, and her own self-worth over a hollow fairy tale. Her walk back down that aisle wasn't an escape, it was a coronation. She crowned herself the ruler of her own destiny. We all face moments where our world is shaken, where the people we trust reveal themselves to be someone else entirely. The question is, what do we do next? Do we crumble, or do we rise from the ashes, stronger and wiser? What would you have done in Isabella's shoes? Share your thoughts in the comments.
For more videos, please subscribe, like, and comment.